what alcohol really allowed me to do was sort of fine tune my depression, meaning that I would call to my depression a lot more often as the culprit behind me maybe being absent from family gatherings, or being late to work, or not performing well at work. Like I wanted so bad to chalk it up to anything other than alcohol, because I knew that meant I would have to stop drinking, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want that.
My depression was causing me to drink, not my drinking was causing depression. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, and what I mean is, like, I'm going to, call in sick and say that I'm depressed and I can't come in, when really I'm hungover and can't come in, But I want to say that the depression is the reason why I'm drinking so much, and I think that to some extent that's probably true, but having you come on the show and hearing sort of your background, it just makes me wonder, like, chemically, what's happening in my brain when I'm, adding that alcohol to the depressive sort of brain. I mean, can you shed any light on that?
Yeah, so alcohol causes a burst in serotonin, which makes us feel happy. So technically, drinking does make you feel happier because it boosts serotonin levels in the beginning. And it also, like, dumbs down your brain, so you just generally care less about your problems because you're distracted. But then the next day, it actually decreases your serotonin below baseline. So below, like, your normal levels of serotonin. So then you feel extra depressed when you have the hangover, and then you need to drink again to bring yourself back up. And it just keeps going, and your brain keeps adapting, and you need more alcohol to get the same boost. And then you have a bigger crash and you're more depressed. And like, on the psychological side, we're also telling ourselves, like, I'm not going to have more than 3 drinks, or I'm not going to drink today at all. And then we don't do that, and we get drunk again. And you keep letting yourself down and disappointing yourself, and you make yourself even more depressed, and you don't believe in yourself anymore. So it's coming in from both sides, like chemically and psychologically, and you just get more and more and more depressed. And drinking to cope, especially, is linked with developing a problem. There have been a lot of studies on that. I think the coolest ones are like 10-year-long studies where they brought people in with depression, and everybody had depression, and they would measure like their level of depression and how much they drank or whatever, and follow up with them a couple times throughout the 10 years. And they found that I think it was like 10 to 15% of people who did not drink to cope would eventually go on to develop a problem, but it was over 40% of people who did drink to cope eventually developed a problem. So there's a big connection between, like, using alcohol to deal and then becoming reliant on it.
Wow.